Alright, good news, good news. So this is going well. I'm really glad, because it's annoying whenever you've spent the past hour reading and recording and you've done a lot of work and then none of it happens. Especially when you don't have time to redo it. That's the most annoying part. But anyway, let's continue with the adults, which, I've gone through this part, and I've gotta say, let me just start off by saying, this isn't particularly exciting. But we're gonna go through it anyway, because I'm sure it'll probably be of interest later.
最近頭痛の方はどうなんや。一時だいぶしんどそうにしとったろ。
おかげで最近はだいぶ調子がいいです。心配をしてくれてありがとう。
そうだ、これ夏日姉さんにお土産。
いつもありがとう。あなたには何かをもらってばかりね。これは紅茶？
ペパーミントとレモンバームのハーブティー。頭痛によく効くって有名なお店のブレンドなの。姉さんにも効くかなって思って。
Rosa was always a conscientious woman. Probably because she was the youngest of 4 siblings, and much younger than the other 3. She managed to grow up without harboring the venomosity of her siblings. Her consideration made Natsui soften her expression for just a moment, but it wasn't enough to make her let down her guard, which was constructed around her long-held anxiety.
そういえばあなた、いっつも頭痛だって言ってたわね。しっかりなさいな。ジェシカちゃん、今年は受験でしょ？人生の節目じゃない。母親のあなたがそんなじゃ頼りないわよ。それに夏日姉さん、私より3つも若いんだから。もうちょっとしっかりなさい。ごめんなさい。生まれつきの頭痛持ちなもので。
Eva sometimes fails to choose her words carefully, yeah, you think? But even though she hid it with a smile, her comments aimed at Natsui contained shards of obvious malice. Of course, that didn't escape Natsui. She frantically contained her urge to grimace, and pretended to ignore Eva.
うちのバトラ君も今年は受験でしょ？ルドルフさんも少しは関心を持ったら？自分の息子のために夏日姉さんみたいに頭痛になるくらい真剣になりなさいよ。
俺が何か言えば必ず反抗するやつだぜ。
'Cause you're a jerk.
じゃあなんて言うんだ。むしろ逆で遊んでていいぞっていうのか？あいつそういうのだけは素直に聞きやがるぜ。秀吉兄さんのところは受験本当にうまくいったじゃないですか。ぜひ子供操縦術の秘訣を教えてくださいよ。
そうやな。何のために勉強するのかっちゅうことを説いたかもしれんな。個々の勉強に意味があるわけやないんや。そう、勉強っちゅうのはわからんことを自分で調べて身につけるという行為の練習なんや。これができんやつは社会に出ても使い物にならん。国語算数ができると言ってるんやない。勉強し身につけることを学べっちゅうことやな。
ご立派ですわ。うちのジェシカにもそれが理解できればいいんだけど、今のままではとてもじゃないけど後宮家の跡取りとしては。いいじゃないの、無理に跡取りにしなくても。女には女の幸せというものもあるんだし、それを親が押し付けちゃ悪いわよ。
予算買えば子供の育て方は家それぞれや。押し付けがましいのはあかんで。
ごめんなさい。夏日姉さんも気を悪くしないでね。
Though the light shining in the window was quite warm despite the cloudy weather, there was a dark mood about the room, which probably caused headaches for other people besides Natsui. As if to brush away that mood, Kyrie brightly made a suggestion to all present.
でも本当に素敵な香りの紅茶ね。早速いただいてみましょうよ。レオポルドの紅茶なんて日本じゃ確か銀座でしか買えなかったはずよ。
キリエ姉さんはお詳しいですね。買ってきた甲斐がありました。
Kyrie and Rosa stood up from their seats and made as if to prepare the black tea. Natsui forestalled them.
お二人ともありがとう。それは後でいただきましょう。うちの者がすぐお茶を持ってきますので、どうぞおくつろぎください。
二人とも後にしろよ。ウェルカムドリンクくらいごちそうになろうぜ。
Rudolph gave a subtle signal with his eyes for them to sit down again. Kyrie and Rosa understood instantly, and obediently returned to their seats. The guests had already been greeted, so it was time for some tea to be prepared for them. That tea was late, and having the guests talk about making some themselves was an embarrassment for the host. Natsui bit her lower lip, frustrated with the ineptitude of the servants who were taking too long to bring the tea. Seeing her face, Eva, without hesitation, started to giggle. Of course, Shannon had no way of knowing what was taking place in the parlor. He came pushing a dish cart piled with teacups. She, for no apparent reason, Natsui gave her a pained look, and Shannon couldn't help but flinch without knowing what she had done wrong.
失礼いたします。お茶のご用意をさせていただきます。
おう、シャノンちゃん、久しぶりやの。ますますべっぴんさんになりよったな。
いえ、どうも。
おしゃべりは配膳を済ませてからになさい。お茶が冷めます。
申し訳ございません、奥様。
She apologized like a small frightened animal, and, bumping against the serving cart, made a jarring racket as she dropped several teaspoons. Her clumsiness made Natsui's expression even harsher, which made Shannon in turn quail even more.
いいのよ、夏日姉さん。挨拶の一つくらいしたってどうってことないわよ。もう十分待たされてる分、十分お茶も冷めてるもの。
I really, I'm trying to sit here and think of some way that maybe Eva will be redeeming in some way, but she gets more annoying every time I see her.
それは大丈夫です。冷めてはおりませんので。
シャノン、早く配膳を済ませなさい。
失礼しました、奥様。
A facial expression. It was obvious that Natsui was getting irritated. The ineptitude that delayed the tea, the clumsiness of the servant, everything pointed to the incompetence of Natsui's everyday guidance, making her lose face. As the person in charge of the Ushiromiya family head kitchen, allowing that clumsiness to be exposed today of all days was surely nothing less than total humiliation.
よせよ、夏日姉さん。シャノンちゃんだって頑張ってるのに、いじめちゃかわいそうだぜ。
いじめてなんかいません。
Yes you are. You're being a jerk.
いい香りね。お茶の銘柄を聞いてもいいかしら。
申し訳ございません。後ほど調べてまいります。
Kyrie wanted to cut through the tense mood, planning to be nice to her. However, instead, Shannon had shown a disgraceful display, darkening Natsui's face in the room's mood. By this point, Eva was audibly giggling.
なーに？シャノンちゃん、自分で入れてるものが何かもわからないの？
Could you just lay off for 5 minutes? Go to the bathroom or something.
ダメよ。そんな怪しげなものを来客に振る舞っちゃ。こんなお茶じゃ銀のスプーンでもないと飲めないわよ。
すみません。すぐに用意を。
ねえシャノンちゃん、 銀のスプーンって何に使うか知ってる？銀じゃないとダメなのよ。なぜかわかる？
いえ、
Eva's eyes played over Shannon, who was setting the table, as a catty smile floated onto her face. Eva's expression as she watched was charming in an impish sort of way. However, the words being sprung from her lips held within them the keenness of a razor. Shannon tried with all her might to avoid Eva's gaze, which continued to stare at her. Grasping that Shannon was hard-pressed for an answer, Rosa promptly gave some timely help.
銀は毒に触れると曇るって言われてるの。シャノンちゃんも一つお勉強ができたわね。
If the tea hasn't been tested for poison, it can't be drunk. In Natsui's eyes, this was an insult to both the tea and herself for serving it. Rudolph, laughing flippantly, patted Eva's shoulder.
姉貴に銀食器なんていらねえだろ。毒舌の姉貴が一舐めしたら、銀の皿だって真っ黒に曇っちまうぜ。
わしはその毒舌を毎日聞かされとるから、もう毒に耐性がついてしまった。
I don't know what possessed you to get with her at all.
エヴァもわし相手には構わんが、耐性のない相手にはちいと加減せんとな。
あらあら、ひどい。シャノンちゃんにお茶の知識を教えてあげただけじゃない。
Everyone followed the lead set by Hideyoshi's horse laugh, and smiled, though sourly. Only Natsui didn't join in, but for the time being, the conversation inside the parlor could be mistaken for a lively and friendly chat. Kyrie apologized to Shannon in a low voice for not being able to help as she finally finished setting the tea table, and tried to leave. Shannon gave a light bow and made a hasty retreat. Shannon cast her eyes downward, pushing the cart down the corridor. The pitiful air around her made it obvious that she had borne the brunt of some bullying.
気を落とさないで。姉さんは何も悪くない。
見てたのね。
そういうお役目だから。
So you saw them being jerks, right?
奥様も
Can we get some backup on that?
でも、それより卑劣なのはあいつだ。
Cannon glanced hatefully in the opposite direction of the parlor. The preparations for the tea had been delayed by some trifling problem in the kitchen. These problems were not Shannon's fault. The truth is that it had been Goda's mistake. Oh, Goda. There was no way that a show-off like Goda would ever hand over a flamboyant job, like carting the tea to the guest in the first place. He had ended up wasting time preparing the tea a second time. So, knowing that he wouldn't be able to make it on time, he pushed the task of setting the table on Shannon, who happened to be passing by. So Goda, he wants to look good. So if something's gonna make him look bad, he doesn't tell the other servants what's going on, he just tells them to do it. Oh man. One could say that cutting corners like this was an especially despicable kind of cowardice.
いいの。ありがとう、カノン君。私、全然気にしていないし。
Cannon's silence vividly showed that Shannon's words weren't coming from her heart.
ありがとう。カノン君だけでも分かってくれたんで、ちょっと心が楽になったかな。
姉さんは心にいろいろ溜め込みすぎる。たまには自分に優しくしてあげて。
ありがとうね。
Suddenly, they both felt someone's presence and whirled around. A middle-aged man stood there. I remember you. It was Genji, the head servant.
そこで何をしている？
はい。失礼いたしました。
Shannon humbly obeyed, and promptly made to push the cart and leave. However, Cannon appealed to Genji in silence, bearing something in his eyes that he could not express in words.
どうした？何かあったか？
シャノンは何も悪くないのに、あいつら。
やめてカノン君。失礼しました。すぐに仕事に戻ります。カノン君も自分の持ち場に戻って。お願い。
姉さんがそう言うなら。
何事もないならそうしなさい。
はい。失礼します。
From the shadows in the hallway, an old woman wearing an apron watched over them. It was Kumasawa.
おいたわしや。シャノンさん、カノンさん。
I do too. Everyone's giving him a hard time.
あの二人がいじめられる理由は何もない。
You know, mostly Goda-san, actually. He's the one for all these problems.
しかし、ゴーダさんに嫌われているのは紛れもない事実。ゴーダさんは後宮本家へいらっしゃられるまで、どこかの立派なホテルにお勤めだったそうです。そこで身につけられたというお仕事ぶりは、そりゃ大したものだとは思います。ただ、ゴーダさんはここでは最も年季の短い使用人。ご自身のそれまでの積み重ねによるプライドもあられたのでしょう。彼は自分より長い年季を持ちながらも、未熟で人生経験も及ばないシャノンさんとカノン君をことあるごとにいびられるのです。また、気の毒なことに、夏日奥様にも嫌われております。もちろん、年季という意味では奥様の方が長くこの家におられます。
Just because you're older and you have more experience doesn't give you the right to be rude. That's a jerk move.
ただ、こればかりは奥様にも同情しなくてはなりません。本当に親方様も罪作りな方でございます。ご自身のちょっとした気まぐれが奥様にこれほどまでの劣等感をお与えになるとは。もちろん奥様とて内心はあの二人に辛く当たる言われは何もないことを重々承知してはおります。しかしそれが理屈で分かっているからといってどうにもならないのが人の心。ああ、ほいたわしや。私には何もできず、こうして物陰から見守ることしかできないのです。
Oh, glass breaking. I went slightly too fast for the game, but there's glass breaking in clocks. Is something gonna come back, or just darkness forever? Nope, nope, okay. Alright. This is... Why isn't my text box coming back? Not that it matters much. There we go. Yeah, so this is where we're gonna stop. This is where I stopped last time. Assuming everything goes well, this will come out. Sorry about the fairly long period of time. I should have enough time actually this weekend to do another set, so we can go even farther then. Maybe make up a little bit for the time I've missed. But I hope you guys enjoyed so far, and technical difficulties aside, everything is still going pretty great. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!